Hello, it's the mom from A Girl, a Book, and a Mom. I'm Mary. I'm going to tell you today what I read in November. Uh, kind of a lot, and kind of. And yeah, and what I'm probably going to be reading this next month. Okay, so let's start out with our first book. Uh, I think it's The Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek by Michele Richardson. I read this as an audiobook for my Busy Ladies Book Club, where we read a book and then discuss on Zoom. I'll put the picture right here. This was a terrific book. I read it on Audible. I gave it 5 stars. It's about a woman who is blue, like actually the color blue. Apparently, there were the blue fugates, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, of Kentucky. And they were in the Troublesome Creek area. And so it was kind of a historical fiction. And I really, really enjoyed it. She was a bookwoman, which means she worked for, I think it's I don't know what it was. One of the presidents. History is also not one of my top subjects. So anyway, so there was a president who during the Great Depression um, set up these programs for people to be able to work. American education system right here. Okay, so anyway, so this public works thing got set up, and so she was employed as part of the Pack Horse Library Project, and so she would bring library books to the Hill people. Um, good Lord, Hill people, which is just people who lived in the hills of Kentucky, and it was pretty much a story of her life, and she's always been told she's the last of the blue fugates, and it was just really a fascinating exploration of these blue people and racism. There was one part that was horrible, and really hard to get through. Like I think I would have put the book down and come back to it if I were actually reading it instead of just listening to it. Um, where some people are just hateful, but well, actually, there's a lot of parts where people are just hateful, and it makes me so glad for my privilege of being white, and yet so deeply ashamed of so many people who are white. But anyway, it was a really, really interesting book, and it was well written, and I was really invested in the characters, and I loved it. So that's The Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek. I don't think I made a whole lot of sense there, but it's an excellent book, and I definitely recommend it. Like, highly, highly, go get it. All right. So the next book is because, honestly, I've been having a little bit of trouble with this whole quarantine business and week after week of this pandemic and people being stupid and we're just gonna say that people being stupid because freedom. But anyway, so I needed a break. I needed a little pick me up. I'm not gonna lie, I've been a little down, been a little claustrophobic, been a little anxious, and I might be enjoying vodka a little bit. But so I needed a break, and what better way to get a break than to read a graphic novel? Because I've discovered, hey, these are kind of fun. So this one is called Bloodlust and Bonnet. It's by Emily McGovern, and here are our 3 main characters. We have Lord Byron, the poet, yeah, and like a debutante sort of girl. I forgot what her name is. Her name is Lucy. So Lucy the debutante and Lord Byron and Sham. who's sort of gender questionable. I'm not sure what the word is. Non-binary. That's what it is. Sham is non-binary. So people in the book ask if they're a boy or a girl, and they answer yes or no. It's really funny. But the pictures are super cute. They are here. They're dealing with like a demon in the forest, but basically the three of them are out hunting Lady Violet Travesty, who is an ancient vampire. And so yeah, there's a lot of blood. I thought it was just a really fun little story, and I was reading it to the girl, and um don't do that. At one point I stopped and I was like, honey, I don't think this is appropriate. And she's like, yeah, I don't think it is, Mom. And then she's like, can you keep reading it to me? And I was like, no. And then I quickly finished it while she was at her dad's and then put it away because, yeah, okay, yeah, bloodlust. That might be a clue. Except the blood is not, oh my God. Okay, yes, there's blood, but that's a vampire blowing up. Okay, so questionable parenting decision, but I did stop. But it is a hilariously silly good time. I gave this one 4 stars, and not appropriate for kids. Nope. Probably also the bookwoman. There's sexual violence. There's domestic violence. There's yeah, it's adult themes. High school, absolutely. High schoolers, if you're watching this, go do your math. But high schoolers, that would be a good book. Great book for you to read. This book also would be fine for high schoolers. It actually is, it's very silly and not at all, well, it's sort of what I was expecting. But really super fun. Super fun. Got me out of my funk. Okay. The next book I read on the Kindle, and it's this one. Oh, actually, I should say The Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek. It covered an audiobook because that was a one that I hadn't had finished on here. So on the 2020 Booklist Queen reading list, an audiobook was A Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek. Okay, so the graphic novel was really just for fun. Yeah, that was not for the book list, not for anything other than, oh, please let me have some hilarity right now. So, Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. That covered the bottom of my reading list. And that's only because I've been trying to read it for 13 years, and it turns out that I had the last name wrong of Zora Neale Hurston. So this is the story of a lighter-skinned African-American woman named Janie, who has beautiful long hair that everybody wants to touch. But anyway, so it's after the Civil War, but Jim Crow is still full on in the South. So anyway, it's the story of her, and I think it's a coming of age novel, but it might be a love story. I mean, at the beginning of it was difficult for me because it reminded me of a bad relationship I've had, that she gets involved. She gets married, sort of. I'm not sure if they ever actually get married. They play that they're married. Um, and he's not a nice man. But the first third was tough, and it explores more than just that relationship for her. And as we get later in her life, it got so good. It got so good. So I will tell you that it took me forever to get through the first third of this book. And it was unpleasant for me. I thought about stopping, and then it turned around and it was fantastic. So I think that was me and my personal baggage that I brought into it, so that I didn't like the first third, but it totally turned it around. And so that's why I gave it 4 stars. It was super good. I might even read it again, just to see if I misjudged something. Okay. The next book, I'm going to talk about is My Mother, a Serial Killer by Hazel Barron. Read that one on the Kindle. This one I read for Nonfiction November. Woo! Fit a nonfiction in. I'm currently reading 2 other nonfiction books, but they didn't get done. So anyway, My Mother, a Serial Killer by Hazel Barron. I gave it 3 stars. I read it on the Kindle, and this one is a story of a really domineering and controlling woman whose children are all afraid of her, the children that live with her. And she really iron fist rules the home. But she happens to be a serial killer, and so it's a story of her, and she's always been very respectable on the outside. Like, she would bring scones to the police station, kindly old lady. Except she wasn't very old. She was probably my age, so old. But no. So anyway, I'm not making any sense today. I totally apologize. So the So it's also the story of the daughter, Hazel Barron, who turned in her mother to the police because, somebody had to do it. And it's also the story of the relationship between the two of them. And I generally enjoy a good true crime novel. And this one was really good. And I did enjoy it. However, there was a lot of Australian slang, and I had no idea what they were talking about. Sometimes I could figure it out from context clues, like daubing. I meant that, like, ratting, like she ratted on her mother. Um, some of them I have no idea, no idea, and I looked them up and I couldn't find them. So that was a little irritating because I'm easily irritated right now. But anyway, so yeah, that one I gave a 3. It was good. Could be better. As the girl would say, room for improvement. All right. Next is Blithe Spirit. This is a play by Noel Coward, and it covers the play that I had to read. And I fully covered this one in, let me get the glare off of it. There we go. I fully covered this one in the video that I did with the girl. I'll link that up there somewhere, wherever it goes. So yeah, this was hilarious. Basic synopsis. It's an author and his second wife have a seance to get story ideas, setting ideas, or something for a novel the husband is writing, and accidentally summons his dead wife, his dead first wife. So super funny, like crazy funny. I was actually laughing out loud, and looked around to see if I could find the movie for free. I couldn't. But that's the old movie. This is being made into a movie, according to Google. So there you go. After reading the play, I totally want to see the movie. So check out my full review on this one. And then in the 5 stars. And then the girl and I read The Mystery of Black Hollow Lane. When I reviewed it with the girl, I said it was a 3-star, but upon thinking about it, I think it's a 4. Like I really, it was gripping. It was fun. I don't know what I was expecting more from it. It wasn't a favorite, like, oh my God, I have to read it again. But we'll be getting the next episode, next book in the series. So there you go. Once so yeah, so I changed my mind that I had it at 3. Now it's a 4. And that one just read because it looked fun. The next book on the list is, what did I call this one? A book I own but haven't read. Frankenstein. And you can tell by how yellow those pages are. Well, they're not terribly yellow. A little bit yellow. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Gotta tell you, I have tried to read this before and put it down. I couldn't do it. It was boring. It was so slow moving. So, this time though, I actually finished it. And I gotta tell you, I think there's 3 parts. That whole first part, oh my God. I was reading it and I was like, oh my God, this is going to take me forever because I just don't care. And it's really slow. And I thought he built a monster. Yeah. Okay. I hope that wasn't a spoiler. Frankenstein. He's a doctor. He built a monster. Just, I don't think it was in the first part. Or it certainly wasn't the parts I've made it up to before now. But I can tell you, make it through the first part, and the second 2 parts fly. Like, wow! Action-packed psychological thriller. Really enjoyed it. That first part was death, though. It was boring. Boring. So this one I also gave a 4-star. This is the month of the first part might kill me, but once you get past the first part, super good. So we're on a theme this month. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I don't know if I'd make it through it again, but really enjoyed it. Okay. And then I think and then we get to the other 2 books that I've been reading this month. Hello, graduate school. So we have Hands-on Machine Learning with Scikit-learn, Keras, and TensorFlow, and Python for data analysis. So I'm getting my master's, and throughout this master's program, I've been programming in R. It's an applied statistics program through Michigan Tech. It's all online. It's really rigorous, very interesting. Super happy I'm doing it because, oh my gosh, wow, yay, math. Not so much yay history, in case you haven't figured that out. This book is helping with data cleaning and simpler techniques that I just don't know how to code. But this has the code right in it, and I'm finding it very useful as kind of a reference book. This book is more for data analysis and data mining. And this book is not so much, well, this book is a lot more explanatory, and then you have to go to a website to find the code. So this would be a book to read and then go look up the code in your free time. This would be the book that I use for, I have an assignment and I need to figure out how to do something. This one turns out to be more useful, but they're both good. So yeah, so that's what I've been doing. Just one audiobook this month, even though I've been driving back and forth to work. But that's because I'm rereading Gone with the Wind. It was a childhood favorite, and it's a 50-hour book. So, yeah, it's long. Although currently I am also reading Atomic Habits and How to Bake Pie, P-I, because math. So How to Bake Pie, I'm reading on the Kindle. Gone with the Wind on the audiobook, and Atomic Habits, I have the book in the other room, which I probably should have brought in here. Anyway, so that's it for November and a sneak peek, I guess, at what I'm doing for December. I hope you're having a terrific day, that you're safe, that you're not being stupid, and I will see you again later. Happy reading!